Why was this horse kidnapped? In 1983, Shergar the racehorse was kidnapped at gunpoint by the IRA. He was widely considered one of the best and most valuable racehorses in the world.
There's only one horse in it! You need a telescope to see the rest! Shergar wins the derby!
I used to feed him because I was a head man. He was a good horse and a great racehorse.
This is Jim. He was the head groom at Ballymany Stud where Shergar lived.
It was in early February and we were in the sitting room and the next thing a knock come at the door and these gangsters came in with guns. They said what they were there for, so they brought me down to the stable where the horse was. And I put him in this small horse box, for them gangsters to take him away.
While some of the gang took Shergar and drove off into the night, Jim was loaded into another vehicle.
They took me away in a van, 3 of them. But I was in the back. There was one of them nice to me in the van going off, but the others were 2 gangsters.
He was given the code word, King Neptune.
Going off in the car, I thought of a lot of things. There was a lot of people missing at that time.
So who was responsible for Jim's ordeal? Why was Shergar stolen at gunpoint? Well, it was before my time. So let's take a look back to the 1980s, to the Troubles, and take a look at the IRA. The Irish Republican Army, the IRA, is the main paramilitary group on the Republican side. The ultimate goal of the Republicans is to achieve a united Ireland by ending centuries of British rule. The IRA's roots go all the way back to the 1916 Easter Rising in Dublin and the War of Independence that led to the partition of Ireland. The IRA fought a long and bloody campaign of attrition designed to force the British government to separate from Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland remained in the United Kingdom after the Republic won its independence in 1921. During a conflict that lasted around 30 years, from the late 60s to the late 90s, around 3,500 people died. By the late 1980s, the IRA were beginning to run out of money and needed to raise funds. So they turned to kidnapping and ransoms, which brings us back to Shergar, the £10 million horse. Hours after his ordeal began, Jim was released 40 minutes north from where he was taken.
They pulled up and they told me, we're letting you out now, and don't look back.
The next day, the investigation began.
And how was it taken? Can you tell us?
I don't know.
Did they have weapons at all?
Yes, they had.
They did? What, they had guns?
They had guns.
The IRA kidnappers called Ballymany Stud later that day.
Hello? Good afternoon, Ballymany.
Hello.
Hello?
Just listen. This is King Neptune.
The kidnappers demanded a ransom of £2 million. Shergar had retired to begin a new chapter in his life as a stud, fathering future racehorses and making a lot of money. He covered 44 mares at a staggering £80,000 a time. He was fully booked for his second breeding season in 1983. His shareholders were on track to make a lot of money, and money was in abundance in the racing world, while the rest of Ireland was in an economic recession. By now, the kidnappers were dealing directly with Shergar's owner, but they were becoming impatient.
If the phone number is not answered tonight at 9 o'clock, you can forget about the horse. You'll never see him again.
Then 3 days after the kidnapping, a blunt and final message was received. If our demands are not satisfied, that's it.
How optimistic are you that the animal is still alive?
Well, I'm always optimistic.
And then the kidnappers never called again. No ransom was ever paid, and with no leads, the search for Shergar had seemingly gone cold. That was until 10 years later, a jailed IRA informant called Sean O'Callaghan said that he had knowledge of Shergar's fate, and he was willing to talk to David Horgan.
This seemed to be as close as you could possibly get to the people who abducted the horse.
He agreed to meet Horgan, a horse bloodstock consultant now on the trail of the horse. They met in prison, and O'Callaghan gave him a graphic account of Shergar's fate.
The animal was taken in a horse box. He had become excitable. They stopped several times to quiet the horse, and at one of these times they discovered that he had fractured one of his leg bones. He was then in considerable distress and suffering, and not having veterinary backup, they felt that they had no alternative but to destroy the horse, and that's when they shot him.
This is the version of events that is most widely accepted, but we might never know what really happened to Shergar. But O'Callaghan did mention where his remains might be buried.
He said, I understand it to be in the townland of Authaal, which means Meadow of the Fairies.
But if you ask the locals?
No one knows anyone about him anyhow.
But if they did know.
Probably wouldn't talk too much about it, like, you know what I mean? That's the situation around here now.
People would always be very cagey about talking about it, you know, in case they'd put their foot in it.
It's a mystery. That's the end of the story.
Oh, God, no. Why wouldn't be that kind of a person, you know? So that's all I can tell you.
To this day, no one has ever been convicted for the kidnapping of Shergar, and his remains have never been found.